And we're back with another video. Thank you guys for all the suggestions. We're really enjoying the content so far. We are very excited for this video. It is called The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching it as well and just expand my knowledge, because you guys have suggested some really good videos and Yass and I are learning a lot recently.
Let's educate ourselves some more. Let's go.
Not every soldier is recognized for his heroic actions. Indeed, one of the countless tragedies of war is that the bodies of many soldiers are never even identified. On August 3rd, 1956, 3 years after the end of the Korean War, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill to select and pay tribute to the unknown soldiers of the Korean War and World War II. These soldiers would be buried in the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery. The Tomb of the Unknowns was created in response to the mass casualties of World War I. The idea of honoring the unknown dead, of which there were so many in World War I, began in Great Britain in 1920.
That cemetery must be quite big because a lot of people died and a lot of, like I said, unknown soldiers at the time has passed away. So they must have made a really big space for them. I'd be interested to go visit that. Is that somewhere we can go visit if we ever went to America?
Yeah, I'm sure you can visit and pay your respects. Or maybe they have it off limits to the public. I'm not entirely sure.
You guys,
let us know.
Yeah, comment below, guys. And if it is, have you guys been? Because I think that's really, cool to show your respects.
Then, in March 1921, the U.S. Congress approved a plan to return the body of an unknown American soldier from the war and bury him with full honors in a tomb to be constructed at the Memorial Amphitheater in Arlington National Cemetery. On Memorial Day, 1921, 4 unknown soldiers were exhumed from 4 World War I American cemeteries in France. They were placed in 4 identical caskets and set before a highly decorated veteran of that war, U.S. Army Sergeant Edward F. Younger. Sergeant Younger ceremonially selected 1 casket. He later spoke of his decision.
I was left alone in the chapel. There were 4 coffins, all unmarked and unnamed. The one that I placed the roses on would be the one brought home and placed in the National Shrine. I walked around the coffins 3 times. Then suddenly I stopped. What caused me to stop, I don't know. It was as though something had pulled me. I placed the roses on the coffin in front of me. I can still remember the odd feeling that I had standing there alone.
That's crazy. So like a feeling made him feel like this is the tomb that he has to put a rose on. That's mad. I feel like that spirit of that unknown soldier might have, or God himself said, this is the one. It's crazy.
I think sometimes, I totally believe in spirituals. I believe that, there are other presences out there. So for him to have that feeling, that didn't just come out of anywhere.
And he said he was quite shocked about it. It just came out of nowhere.
The chosen unknown was transported to the United States aboard the USS Olympia. Those remaining were interred in the Meuse-Argonne Cemetery, France. The selected unknown lay in state at the Capitol Rotunda until midnight on November 10th, 1921. On November 11th, Armistice Day, the casket of that unknown soldier was carried from the Rotunda to Arlington National Cemetery under a military escort. Behind the caisson bearing the flag-draped casket walked President Harding, Vice President Coolidge, Chief Justice Taft, and the other justices of the Supreme Court, members of the Cabinet, Senate, and House of Representatives, generals and other distinguished officers from America's wars, and recipients of the Medal of Honor. President Harding officiated at the interment ceremonies at the Memorial Amphitheater at Arlington National Cemetery. He conferred upon the unknown soldier the Medal of Honor and the Distinguished Service Cross.
So you got a Medal of Honor. Damn. So that feeling brought that unknown soldier a Medal of Honor. I'm sure he done great things to deserve it throughout that war anyway. So a lot of them did, and they all deserve respect.
Representatives of foreign governments allied with the U.S. in World War I participated as well, bestowing upon the unknown their own highest military awards. The United States reciprocated this gesture, honoring an unknown soldier from nations of France, Great Britain, Belgium, Italy, and Romania with the Medal of Honor. In the history of the Medal of Honor, these are the only 5 instances in which the award was presented to a foreign soldier. After World War II, plans were made for the selection and burial of an unknown from that war. But fighting in Korea broke out before the selection process had begun, and the decision was made to postpone until a more appropriate time. That time turned out to be 1958, when unknowns from World War II and the Korean War were selected for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns. The final selection of the unknown from the Korean War took place on May 15th, 1958. All of the unknown war dead from that war had been buried in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. In that place, 4 candidates for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns were placed in identical caskets, draped with American flags. Master Sergeant Ned Lyle, a recipient of the Distinguished Service Cross for heroic action in Korea, was designated to make the final selection. He placed a wreath of blue and white carnations on one casket and saluted the remains of the soldier inside. The selection of the World War II unknown took place 11 days later aboard the USS Canberra. Earlier stages of the selection process had resulted in 1 remaining candidate from the European Theater of Operations and 1 candidate from the Pacific Theater. Hospital Corpsman First Class William R. Charette, recipient of the Medal of Honor for actions in the Korean War, made the final selection.
Medic, so he must have saved so many lives during that time and helped so many people from injuries, wounds.
Medics are such an important aspect
It's
to
underrated.
the military. Imagine how many times you get shot, wounds, just anything, and if someone needs to be able to heal you.
And on the battlefield most of the time.
Under pressure as well. Under a lot of pressure.
Getting shot at while getting shot at by the
He 100%
enemy.
must have been injured himself as well, but stay alive comes first.
It's crazy.
From a doctor's perspective.
They're so brave to even be in that position, to be like, I'll happily be on the battlefield trying to save lives, knowing that I could just die in a blink of an eye.
I think it's like fighting along with your country as well.
And comrades.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The selected unknown, along with the unknown from the Korean War, arrived in Washington on May 28, 1958. They lay in state in the Capitol Rotunda until 1 p.m. on May 30th. As the procession moved toward Arlington National Cemetery, the 2 caissons, each carrying 1 unknown, traveled side by side. When they reached the cemetery, they shifted into a column led by the caisson bearing the World War II unknown soldier. As the caissons entered the cemetery, 20 jet fighters and bombers passed overhead, with 1 plane missing from each formation. The casket of the World War II unknown soldier was placed in front of President Eisenhower, and the Korean War unknown soldier in front of Vice President Nixon. The Marine Band played the national anthem, and then a bugler sounded attention 3 times. After a long moment of silence, President Eisenhower placed a Medal of Honor on each casket.
It's crazy because they've passed away, and little do they know any of this is even happening. They got given the highest award you can get in military, which is a Medal of Honor from the US. And some of these people, like said, are foreign soldiers. You think they would ever have fought? Their bodies taken to this cemetery, like this tomb of for the unknown soldiers with the Medal of Honor award. They just, hopefully they could see it from above, because that alone is something to be so like.
I'm sure they can.
Yeah.
And it's such a respectful tribute as well, because even though they've passed away, they are still presenting the medal to these fallen soldiers.
They've not been forgotten about.
Yeah.
They're not just left.
They will never
That's
be
it.
forgotten about.
That's it.
They play such a huge part in this war.
They're in the history books.
Yeah.
The unknowns of World War II and the Korean War were interred in the plaza beside their World War I comrade. The tomb sarcophagus was placed above the grave of the unknown soldier of World War I in April 1931. The sarcophagus is constructed of 7 rectangular pieces of white marble, together weighing 79 tons. On the west panel of the sarcophagus, facing the amphitheater, are the words, "Here rests, in honored glory, an American soldier, known but to God." On the east panel, facing the Capitol, 3 Greek figures have been sculpted. On the left stands Peace, holding a dove in one hand. On the right stands Valor, bearing a broken sword in his hands. In the center stands Victory, holding hands with Peace while extending an olive branch to Valor.
That is a proper tribute. They went in. I really like the meaning behind that and how they joint peace and victory all together.
The north and south panels present a total of 6 inverted wreaths, each representing a major campaign of World War I. West of the sarcophagus are the crypts of unknowns from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Those 3 graves are marked with white marble slabs that lie flush with the plaza. Since April 6, 1948, the tomb of the unknown soldier has been guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, regardless of weather. In blazing sun, freezing snow, and even in the face of hurricanes, the sentinels continue their watch. The sentinels, members of the 3rd Infantry, or Old Guard, are famous for the precision of their march and changing of the guard. The sentinel marches 21 steps across a black mat, past the crypts of each unknown. He then makes a crisp 90-degree turn to face east for 21 seconds. He then makes another 90-degree turn, facing north for 21 seconds. A crisp shoulder arms movement places the rifle on the shoulder nearest the visitors to signify that the sentinel stands between the tomb and any threat.
I wonder what would happen if someone tried to like cause a threat. Do you think they'll shoot?
Why do you think they guard it 24/7?
So no one can like
Vandalize it.
No one could take, because they, and it's also, I think, to show even more respect that these are such big
That they will
impact.
protect their
They will
tombstones.
protect them for the next million
I think
years.
it's really good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Especially no matter what weather it is as well.
I've never seen or heard anything like that. It's a first for me, and I think that's incredible. I didn't even know something like that existed.
Neither did I until now.
It's mad.
After that moment, the sentinel paces 21 steps north, turns, and repeats the process. Every hour during the winter and every half hour during summer daylight hours, the sentinels conduct the changing of the guard ceremony. As the new sentinel approaches the relief commander, slowly and with great precision, conducts a white glove inspection of the sentinel's weapon. The two then march to the center of the mat, where the active sentinel stops his walk, and all three men salute the tomb. The relief commander instructs the active sentinel, "Pass on your orders." The sentinel replies, "Post and orders remain as directed." The relieving sentinel responds, "Orders acknowledged." The relieving sentinel then steps into position at the center of the black mat. The relief commander and relieved sentinel exit, and the new sentinel begins his march. The unknown soldiers serve to remind us that not all actions of valor are witnessed and recorded in war. We do not know the stories of these men, but we know they gave their lives in a war they did not start to protect the freedom of people who would never know their names. They demonstrate the courage and heroism of every man and woman who goes into combat in service of their nation. They will face threats we can hardly imagine in an attempt to eliminate the dangers that are posed to the men in the trench beside them.
That really hit home, that final line when they said men who fought and died in a war that they did not start. And I think that's one way to sum up a hero, you know, beautiful. And I love the way they've got them in the tomb and the guard 24/7 for the next how many years? Lifetime.
I like how strict they are in their movements as well. For you to take up that job, you need to be proper serious about it, because you need to be standing in that position for God knows how long with a straight face as well. It's a hard job, but it's a very respectful job as well at the same time.
In all weather conditions.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for sending us that video. Fantastic. Learned a lot. I'm sure Fat's going to say the same. Please keep sending them through. You know, we found this video
in the comments below
from you guys in the comment section below. So big shout out to you guys. Keep it coming and we will react to them. Peace out.